30% of what you spend each year? This is the first generation that's actually worried about probably what is the biggest issue that hasn't quite showed up yet with dramatic negative impact. It's our own federal government and the way it's being run. So trying to extrapolate what's going to happen, it's only going to be good and better because it's trying to fix the things that aren't working in this country.
Governor, what happens if a school district discriminates against a child? There are schools in Indianapolis where there's an overwhelming...
That is such an easy question to answer. No bigotry, no discrimination is going to be tolerated on my watch. And this isn't about that. This is about a different point of view. This is something I've said for years. The other side, when I did the first debate on the big stage, running against Joe Donnelly, it was about the sanctity of life. They weren't going to corner me on that because you know how I answered it? I'm not going to demonize your point of view. You know what I'd like in return? For you to do the same. That lasted about 30 seconds, end of the topic, because you know that makes sense. This is about everyone being able to express his or her view, not to where the status quo has kept that from happening in all the subtle ways it can happen. This is never going to be to suppress the other point of view because that's never happened in the past anyway. That would be hypocritical for us to be for that.
Are you doing this in part to extend an olive branch to the Trump administration, considering what happened with redistricting?
Now, you're trying to segue into another subject matter, and I'd say has nothing to do with it. I never operate that way, and you know that. I'm going to operate on what makes sense. When I started, ran for Senate with 1%, it was on these principles: faith, family, community, freedom, and opportunity. Go back, look at it. That's been a winning message. And the reason it's now hitting a crescendo, which I think you use that word, is because the youngest part of our society is now knowing that if you want a better future, you've had 4 decades at least, of the opposite approach where we've grown government, borrowed from future generations. What do we have? You can't get anything done in D.C. The 6 years I was there, I don't think there was one impactful piece of legislation because it was built upon more borrowing and spending, not really addressing the issues like wellness and prevention on healthcare, which is 20% of our GDP. Fixed it in my own business when there was no one telling me how to do it. These are the kinds of things we need to do through government. And this is just opening up this channel to where those views get fully expressed. So when it comes to schools doing the things that they can do through local rule, or the fact that they're going to have their own prerogatives through their school board, that would be the point where it gets tricky to navigate through. But those issues happen all the time across all different sectors of governance, including schools. I was on a school board for 10 years, from 04 to 14. We had no issues like this crop up in terms of actually speaking out on either side. Now you can see that that's become the way that you're going to try to change America. And if you get into things that where the school board is not allowing freedom of expression, then you're going to need to look at changing who your school board is. It's a new phenomenon because finally the conservative side of life is not afraid to speak up. All right, that's all we have. One more question. You're not going to end it on the last one. So I'll take one more. I'm going to flip it again. The other side of the aisle has been much better at that and have used all the tools and techniques, and I applaud them for it. And this is about our side getting better at what the other side has used for decades to outmaneuver us, outwit us. Where this changed was in 2016 when there was a different approach to where we're not afraid to talk about it. And you can see every day the issues we talk about outside of this, the other side of the aisle is digging in to preserve more government, more secular, and trying to then maybe prevent what you're seeing here. It's going to be an even playing field. I'm about equal opportunity, no bigotry, None of that stuff. Everybody has a voice. Make sure you respect the other side's voice. Win it by making the best case. Thank you so much.